Good morning, Lyric Services. Trisha Warner here today, and we're going to be talking about back care. So your weekly workout today is all about back health, and if that's something important to you, then I think you're going to really like this video. If you're like, oh, my back's always been really good, then maybe pick one of our other videos that I've done that are more applicable to you. So it's up to you. But if you do this and you don't even have back problems, it's wonderful preventative care as well. I usually don't sit much at all, and ironically, I've been planning on doing back care today, and then yesterday was a snow day at work, and I sat at my desk for hours and just worked on paperwork and filing and all kinds of sedentary work, and this morning I'm like, oh, I feel that a little bit. So a good day for me to do this as well. So today, back care is not specific for any one diagnosis. If you have a formal diagnosis of disc herniation or stenosis or something significant, then this is not the workout for you. Shoot me an email at trishafinch@hotmail.com and I will be able to give you specific exercises for your back condition. This is for general back health, to decrease back discomfort from holding too much, because when we sit sedentary, we're holding a lot, and that can result in back discomfort. So the first thing I want to show you is just a restorative position. Losing my props. And it's just getting your legs in a position to cause the least amount of compression on your discs. It is a way to decompress the spine and allow that fascia around your spine to release. So you get yourself in the position where your legs are supported. So ideally, I feel like I should put maybe a couple cushions under my legs. I can just show you. So you want to get into a 90-90 position. So your hips are at 90 degrees. So I'm getting closer, and that's better. So get your hips nice and close to whatever's under your legs. Be creative, use what you have, a step stool, an ottoman. So I had this Pilates box, but I put some cushions on top. Now my hips are close to 90 degrees, not quite, but they're pretty close. My knees are at 90 degrees and my feet are relaxed. And this position is very restorative. You can lay here for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's just a good way to allow this whole spine to decompress and get some lengthening through your spine. So maybe that's what you need to do after work. But now we're going to heal by moving and having a positive movement experience. So what we're gonna do now is move our prop out away, and we're gonna start moving. So the first thing I want you to do is just lay flat on your back and feel where your body is on the mat, where your ribs are, where your back is. Try to create a sensation of length throughout your body. So what happens a lot when we're sitting at our desks or, sitting in our homes, reading and eating, is gravity kind of compresses our spine. And what we need to do to reverse that is create some length. So as you're laying here, think about your tailbone reaching away from your rib cage. Think about your chest kind of and your head reaching out this way, and create almost your own feeling of length through your spine. And now that we've found that length, I'm gonna have you kind of let go a little bit. So we found that length. Now let it just go. We're gonna breathe. And with every exhalation, I want you to allow gravity to move your body into the mat. Let that tension go, and just take a few nice deep breaths. Soften your rib cage with every exhale. Let that tension go. Sometimes back discomfort is created by just holding too much tension. Could also be from moving from one segment more than another. So we're going to work on that today as well. Or it can be that your big muscles are guarded and spastic, and your smaller muscles that are stabilizing, like around the spine, they're called local stabilizers, they're not doing enough. We're going to address that today too. All right, so now just relax your shoulders open, find that position of relaxation. And we're going to do some pelvic clocks. So we're going to start low here. So if my hands were like my pelvis, we're going to imagine that you have a clock on your stomach. 12 o'clock is up here above your belly button. 6 o'clock is below your belly button. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale as we tip our pelvis towards 6 o'clock. So we're going this way with our pelvis, creating a little space in our low back. As you exhale, you're going to go up to 12 o'clock. Tip it up this way so your back comes down to the mat. Inhale as you tip it towards 6. Exhale as you tip it towards 12. Now let the rest of your body move. Your head's going to move. Your ribs are going to shift. Kind of let this energy and this movement ripple through your body so that we create a nice relaxed movement here. Do a couple more here. Good. Now we're going to go from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So we're going to go sideways with our pelvis. So we're going to rock, just kind of put a little more weight onto one hip. The other one kind of lifts, and then press the other way. Keep it small. This is similar to what your pelvis does when you walk. So keep it nice and small, just rocking side to side. You'll find if you put a little pressure in the back foot of the direction you're going, it will facilitate a little bit more motion. Keep it small though, nice and easy. Excellent. Now we're going to work into that segmental movement. Like I said, a lot of times back pain is because we're stiff in one area of our spine and too mobile in another part of our spine. So we're going to get those stiff joints a little bit of movement right now, and we're going to start with a bridge. So we're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, tip your pelvis to 12 o'clock again. Get the tailbone up to the ceiling, low back comes down to the mat. Now we're going to start to press into our feet, and you're going to start way down at your tailbone, peeling your back up away from the mat, one vertebrae at a time, until you're up into your bridge. Inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to soften your chest and roll down through your back. Visualize your spine as individual segments, and you're dropping one before the next, before the next, before the next, and then find your way back to neutral. And we're going to do that again. So not only are we working on segmental movement of the spine, which is a common cause of back discomfort, we're also doing glute activation, which is a huge contributor to back pain, is not having enough glute activity and support. Inhale at the top. Exhale on the way down. Lower one before the next and roll through your spine. Your vertebrae are separate from each other, so we need to move them individually. Last one, we're going to hold this one. Exhale as you peel up. This will get our local stabilizers working a little bit more around our spine. Now hold it here. We're going to add a little shift. So you're going to, just like a typewriter kind of, if you guys remember typewriters, I don't know how old all of you are. We're going to shift your hips to one side, drop your hips just 1 inch. Then you're going to shift your hips to the other side, drop your hips 1 inch, shift your hips and drop and shift. I'm moving my hips closer and closer to the mat, shift and drop. I'm getting really close now. I got maybe room for one more. And drop. Shift to the middle before you come all the way back in. Great job. So now holding neutral spine. So we're not tipped towards 6 and we're not tipped towards 12. We're right in the middle here. We're holding this. And then we're going to come back into that 90-90 position. So lift one leg up into tabletop. We're going to lower that whole leg down, barely touch the floor, and lift it back up. 1 and tap. Lift 2. Tap. And 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Keep the back nice and still. And last one. Good. Set that leg down. Switch to the other side. Lift it up. 1 and tap. Back stays still. Make sure it's not wobbling at all. That's the key to this exercise. It's all about hip disassociation. So we want to move the hip without moving the back, and that actually strengthens the back by not allowing that motion to happen. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, And last one, 4. Great job. We're gonna stretch our legs all the way out now. And we're gonna bring the backs of our hands together like this. And you're gonna bring them right to your chest, right to your sternum. Hold them away from your chest a little bit, but it's right in front of that breastbone. And we're gonna take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to slightly lift your head off the mat, then start to lift your shoulders away from the mat, and then come back down. So it is a little chest lift. Exhale, nod, and lift your shoulders too. So we're flexing our upper spine. Think more about moving the bones and less about the abs with this one. Exhale, lift 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more, and last one. And coming all the way back down. Now we're going to bend our knees. We're going to come into another variation of chest lift. We're going to come up a little higher this time. Definitely not something you want to do if you've had disc injuries, and I mentioned that in the beginning. So let's take a deep breath in here. Exhale as you lift your head and shoulders. Pause here. There's a lot to focus on here. Inhale as you reach your arms up to the ceiling, arcing them to the back of the thighs. We're going to exhale as you gently pull on your thighs to lift a little higher. Inhale as you float your arms back behind your head. Exhale as you roll all the way down. We're going to do 5. This is a powerful exercise. And move at your own pace with your breath. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, chest lift. Inhale, arc your arms. Exhale, pull a little more. Inhale, arc your arms again. Exhale, roll back down. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, chest lift. Inhale, arc your arms. Exhale, pull up a little more. Inhale, arc your arms back again. And exhale all the way down. Exhale, chest lift. Inhale, arc. Exhale, pull a little more. Inhale, arc. And exhale all the way down. Pause here. We're going to bring one leg up to tabletop and grab the knee with your hand. And then same thing on the other side and grab the knee with your hand. We're going to make circles with our knees here. We're going to use our hands to facilitate that. We're just rotating the hips in the socket. So sometimes back discomfort is because of a lack of mobility in the hips. So then your back needs to compensate for that lack of mobility in the hips and move more. Switch and go the other direction. So we want to move our hips, but we want stability in our back. 2 more. And then pause here. Float one foot down and then the other foot down. We're going to move our arms out to the side like a T. Separate your feet about hip width apart. Maybe a little closer than hip width apart. And then we're just going to let our knees kind of move over to one side, just so you feel a nice gentle stretch. We're going to use our breath to come back here. So breathing into this part of your lungs here. Inhale into that stretched part. And then as you exhale, use that breath to bring your knees back up so we're not straight. Inhale again. Exhale, rolling over to the other side. Move just to where you feel comfortable. Now we're breathing into this part of the ribs here. Breathe in, feel that expansion. Exhale as you pull your knees back up to the ceiling. Good. We're going to be a little bit more active with this now. So if that was easy for you, float your legs up to tabletop. Keep your back in neutral. And here. Now we're already working here, right? And if you want, and if you have the little ball that your employers sent you, you can use the ball between your knees. You don't need to. You can also put a little pillow or I've done it with a roll of paper towels or toilet paper between your knees. And now we're going to add that rotation again. And we're going to use the breath to facilitate. So you're going to lift this hip up as you move in the opposite direction. Inhale. Exhale, use the breath to pull you back to center. Inhale, reach your knees to the other side. Exhale, pull it back. And inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. One more time each side. And back. Last one. And back. Good. Pause here. Bring one foot down, then the other foot down. You can put your prop, if you were using one, off the side. A yoga block also works good between that one as well. So if you have your band from your employer as well, you can use your band, but you can also pause this video, grab a piece of rope, a belt, an old scarf, the belt from your robe, anything like that will work, a yoga strap. And we're gonna do some stretching for our legs, because sometimes it's that our hamstrings are too tight that it pulls on our back. So we're gonna put the middle of our foot in the middle of the band, and you're gonna hold the band with both hands. If you're using a strap that's not stretchy, you're just gonna have to move your arms a little more because you're not gonna have that stretchiness. So we're gonna float the leg down to the mat and then bring it back up. And again, stretch it down, float it up. And last one. And pause here. We're gonna windshield wiper our legs. So it's gonna come out to the side and then across our body. The only thing moving is your hip. The other hip is glued to the mat. Your back is really stable. So just this hip socket is moving, swinging the leg out and in. And last one. Good. Bring it back in, bend the foot, switch the legs. Same thing other side. Straighten that leg all the way up. Ooh, the hamstrings are tight today. Float it all the way down and float it all the way up. Oh yeah, this could be why my back is a little tweaky this morning. So I try to address all the common causes of back discomfort in this 30-minute video. So hopefully you feel a little better after doing it. You should always feel better after doing Pilates. Now we're gonna windshield wiper the leg, keep the rest of the body still. If you don't, then you're doing something that your body doesn't like, and that is not okay. So we don't want soreness after. We don't want second day soreness. If you feel like you activated your muscles and you're like, ooh, that felt good. Like I feel my hamstrings the next day, that's okay, but it shouldn't be painful. And let's just do one more. Good, and then coming all the way down. We're gonna turn right over onto our side for some sideline work. So stack your hips right up on top of each other, legs are straight and strong. All right, we're gonna float. You can put something under your head or just your arm, a pillow works too. We're gonna stretch this top arm all the way up overhead. And now what I want you to actively do is a little stretch here. So I'm reaching my hand away from my body and I'm stretching my top foot away from my body. And I'm facilitating a stretch through this part of my body. And I'm just gonna hold that and breathe. Feel that lengthening. Breathe into it. And then relax back down. Very good. Now we're gonna just do some leg abduction. So without moving anything here. So you really shouldn't be able to get your leg too high. We're gonna keep our waist lifted, everything narrow through here. You're just gonna lift that top leg off the bottom leg. And 2. Getting the other parts of these glutes here. 3, 4. Glute activation is key when you sit a lot. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Pause here, little circles like the size of a cantaloupe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep the body still. 8, 9, 10. Switch and go the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax the leg down. Bring that top leg in behind the back leg and reach your front arm forward. So I'm reaching out on a diagonal out in front of my forehead. And just like we did before with reaching away, my arm's reaching away, my leg is reaching away, and I'm stretching through this fascial connection here. Breathe into it. And then relax. Bend your knees. We're going to finish with a little book opening here. Let's do both hands behind our head. Breathe in and think about lengthening your spine. As you exhale, you're going to rotate your shoulders towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, coming back. So you want to think about moving that shoulder blade to the floor. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, coming open. And inhale, come back. Great, we're gonna push ourselves up and do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and set yourself up so that your hips are stacked, your body is long, your waist is narrow, and we're gonna reach that top leg and top arm away from each other, and reach, 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 and breathe. And then you can bring it back. This hand can be here or here. It's up to you. We're going to lift that top leg up and down. Lift 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Pause here, hip high. Small circles, keeping the rest of the body still. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch and go the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take that top leg behind the bottom leg. Reaching the top arm out in front. We're opening up that hip flexor. You can stretch that leg back a little further if you want to really open this up. Breathe into it. Stretch that leg back. And exhale, come back. Bend your knees up. Bring your hands behind your head. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, open the shoulders and the chest towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to come back. And again. So this is increasing our thoracic mobility. A lot of times we get back discomfort because we move too much from our low back and not enough from our thoracic spine. So by increasing the movement in the upper back, you're going to distribute the load of your day throughout your whole spine, not just your low back. We got to use every segment that we have. That's how it was designed to be used. We're going to flip over onto our stomach for a little bit of spine extension. So you're going to bring your forehead right down to the back of your hands here. And now you're kind of thinking of your arms as like a framework. Draw your tummy away from the floor just actively a little bit. And you're going to, as you exhale, you're going to press into your hands and lift your heart and your shoulders away from the floor. That's it. Just a little active extension and then come back down. And press and lift. I was looking at my camera as if I was going to see you. Like when I teach live Zoom. Press and lift. And come back down. 2 more. And last one. And coming back down. Now for this one, you're going to hover your face off the floor. So not all the way up where you just were in spine extension, about half that distance. So come down a little bit. Slide your hands away from each other so that they're in a W position. Draw that tummy away from the floor. Pull the abs in a little bit to support your back. So your hands are right next to your shoulders. You're just going to lift them up and down. Lift 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. And if you're doing this and you're like, this is really easy, put a can of soup or a water bottle in your hand. I do want you to get to the point where you feel like you're using these muscles in the back. They don't have to be exhausted, but they feel like they're used. Hands under your shoulders. We're going to come up into a little prone press up. Shoulder blades glide down your back. Hands are going to press into the mat as you exhale and lift your heart away from the mat. You're tipping yourself up on that lowest rib and then come back down and do that again. Press and lift. Shh. If this feels like a lot for you, make it smaller. If you're like, this is pretty easy, we're gonna take it up a little higher now. So walk your hands forward just an inch, and then as you exhale, you're gonna press into your hands, lift your heart, come up as much as you feel comfortable, and then coming back down. Now make sure that we're not just bending from one segment in your back. You want your abs to stay tight, so we're not hanging into our extension. We're lifting everything nice and even. So get a good amount of spine extension in the top. Then press into your hands. Keep those abs engaged. We're not hanging into the low back. Last one. And use your breath. And coming all the way back down. Great job. Push yourself up into all fours. Hands and knees. We're going to exhale as you round your back. Tuck your tailbone. Push your hands into the floor to create a nice round hump. Inhale as you stick your tailbone out, lengthening your spine and creating a nice big arch. We're going to exhale as you round. Inhale as you arch. And exhale to round. Inhale to arch. Keep going. And last one. Good. Come up to kneeling. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Oh, very good. All right. You're going to bring one foot out in front of you. So if kneeling is tough for you, you can do this in standing. You could be in just a lunge. But I like to ground my knee for this one to really open up. Let me show the other leg first. So make sure your pelvis is nice and level. What happens is sometimes we tip a little bit. So make sure that you're nice and level here, and then you're gonna lean forward till you get a stretch in the front of this back leg. Make sure that the front foot is out far enough so that your knee is not going over your toe. So separate those feet nice and wide. Come into a big stretch here. If you don't feel much of a stretch, lift that same arm up and then side bend away from it. This is stretching our hip flexor. And then come back up. We're gonna switch to the other side. Level the pelvis first. So if that front leg hip is high, bring it down. Walk that foot forward so you have enough room to lean into the stretch. Pull your abs in. Tuck your tailbone under. Lift the same arm up if you want to and side bend into it. Good. Coming back up. And we're going to add a little bit more rotation here. So come back to the first side, level the hips. Arms are out to the side. We're gonna rotate towards the front leg. So we're gonna rotate to the front knee and then come back and switch sides again and rotate towards the front knee. Very good. All right, come back down. We're gonna sit on our bottoms. And we're gonna do a little bit of hip rotation. So you're gonna sit like you're lounging on the beach. Your arms are behind you. Your feet are a little wider than hip width apart, but we're not totally relaxed. So go ahead and straighten those arms. Keep your core engaged. And we're just gonna rotate our knees side to side. But what that's actually doing is rotating the hip in the socket. But what I don't want you to do is lift that hip up. I'm not sure what the best way to see this is. So keep your pelvis down. My hips are not moving on the floor at all. I'm just rotating the hip in the socket. Couple more. Good. And then coming back to center. You can crisscross your legs. You can sit with them any way you want. Out in front, in a diamond, crisscross any way you want. Arms are out to the side. You're sitting up nice and tall. We're just gonna come into a little side bend stretch, reaching up and over. This bottom arm bends, and then you're gonna push off of it and come back up to sitting and go over to the other side. I can tell already my back is feeling much better. It's really important to find length in your spine throughout the day. And it's also really important to find some freedom of movement and pain-free movement. Like, this needs to be a positive movement experience so that you don't associate movement with pain. We heal through movement. If we hurt and we stay still, everything gets tighter and more spastic, and it creates more of that pain cycle. So you ultimately need to move. Even though your back may be sore after work, movement is key, but it's having that pain-free movement experience that is what really is effective. So great job today. Thanks for joining me. I will see you next week where we will do some more Pilates. Take care. Bye.